Hello and welcome to another video on this channel. Today I'm doing the tier list for the uncommon item category. We have a standard tier list with like a weird, missing letter here. So we don't have an E tier because it's E tier is useless to be honest. Anyways, something to mention here is this item doesn't exist or isn't available currently in the game. And this item has a different image. So yes, this is because the wiki pages to the items aren't like updated, and I took the images when of like an older wiki. I don't know if it's fixed now. Let me quickly check. No, it's not fixed. So yeah. Okay, let's get into the tier list. So we are starting off with Aura Gem. Aura Gem deals passive damage to nearby enemies, and per stack it gets 10% casting speed for the damage instances. I think Aura Gem is also an item that maybe needs like a more clear animation, because you often don't really see or feel the impact it has. Like if it does what it says, um, it there could be an argument made that it goes in A tier. Um, yeah, but I'm not sure. I think this is more of a mid item, so more like a B tier item. It's not bad, like C tier, but it's not great. So I think B tier is fine. Okay. Next item, Bad Plush. This gives you plus 0.25% lifesteal, and I think this is an A tier item. Yeah, lifesteal is really good. But in this case, it's really not that much. I think it's a reasonable amount for an uncommon item, but it's just not like broken or something like some other items in this item category. So I think A tier is completely fine. Yes, moving on, we have the breastplate that no one can pronounce, or like I can't pronounce Righteousness or something. I don't know. But this item gives you plus 20% elemental effects and plus 50 max life. This item straight up goes into S tier. This is probably like one of the strongest items from common uncommon. It's probably the strongest item, and that is just because elemental effects are actually relatively common. Um, yeah, and it's just ridiculous. Like 50 max life, that's a lot. Um, it's really good. Just really one of the best items in the game. Um, if you like compare to the other items in the category. So yeah, and definitely a deserved S tier. Next, we have broccoli, and this one heals you tra based on distant traveled if time is ticking. So yeah, this is basically like extra region is what I'm saying. So this is just probably like one additional region, I think. But the thing is, it would scale with movement speed, but this is like also an item you don't really feel the impact. Um, but I think in this case it's like even worse than Aura Jam. So yeah, it goes in C tier. It's just not good. It's really not good. Um, yeah, because like just even soul healing is more effective, and soul healing without buffs is also kind of trash. Like it's really slow. So I will say a region in this game in general isn't great. Mostly you're just going to heal from lifesteal or souls, but souls are, if you look at a base value, not that great. But the good thing is that you can heal really fast with them. compared to like normal region. So yeah. Next up we have the broom with a sword. What this item does is it gives you 10% of your movement speed is converted into extra damage. Yeah, this item sounds good on paper, but isn't really that great. Because your movement speed is capped like relatively fast, and movement speed is definitely one of the hardest stats to get in this game, and you just don't feel the impact. Um, yeah, but it's not bad. It's like rare that I would pick it on a choice of free. Um, yeah, but I think it deserves B tier. It's not great. It's alright. So it's going into B tier. Next up, we have the camera, and this one gives you +5 HP refill on inspect. So, this item is going straight into F tier. Um, Maybe you know the Polish wax. It's actually not polished wax, it's Polish wax. I don't know why, but it is. And so this item heals you for the amount that a soul would heal you if you inspect your weapon. The thing is, it's not spammable. It has a cooldown of like freaking 10 seconds. So this is half. So if you're actually using it, this is half an HP per second. Yeah, this item is trash. Just so you know, like it's really bad. Um, I think this item like actually would be decent if it would heal like 25. If it would heal 25, it would be like high C or something. Maybe even low B. But 5 is like also just 5 is nothing. That's just nothing. Moving on. We have the chili pepper or critical penguin. Yeah, but let me quickly. Yeah, this is the actual order. I switched both of them. So, the chili pepper is currently not available in the game, but anyways, gives you 1 extra second of burn time, which is kind of useless. The only scenario in which this is good if you have burning like not on your weapon, like on a gadget, then it's fine. But if you have it on a weapon, you're going to inflict it like way more often, so it doesn't matter. And burn time is already pretty decent, so you just don't need this. Just kind of useless. Because most of the time you're also like one-shotting monsters, so this would only be effective on bosses, and fire is not going to be your boss killer machine. So yes, bad item, even though you can't get it. Moving on, we have critical penguin, as already mentioned. This item makes it so that enemies that are killed by a crit heal +3 instead of 1. I think this is, by the way, this is really bad wording. So okay, so this is how it's stated on the wiki, but I think it's also what it's like in game. But enemies killed by a crit heal +3 instead of 1. Like, why is there +3? Does it mean it is like +3 on top of 1, or is it like 3 instead of 1? What is this plus? I don't know. I think also this item is like capped at 3, or maybe I'm mixing it up with potato. I don't know. Um, yeah, but this item is actually not that bad, I would say. It's just really rare that you pick it up because it's kind of inconsistent, to be honest. There are scenarios in which it is really good if you, for example, have a natural lightning ice synergy. So basically, you don't have to switch weapons for it. So what I mean here is like if you have the yo-yo with ice and you get the lightning string weapon mod, then this will be pretty good. Yeah, I would say it's all right. It's not crazy or something, but it's definitely decent. Um, so the question is if it's better than the broccoli. I would say yes, because it's easier to build into it, because most of the time at the end of a run, if you go to the time room fairly often, then you're going to have maybe like around 10% crit chance, or like if you just pick up one clover, and it's like relatively good actually. So I think this is fine. Yeah. mm, I'm not 100% sure here, but I personally would like it more than broccoli. Um, because I think crit is actually fine to build into. It's relatively easy actually to build into crit. Um, but I think it's kind of sad is that that you basically can't get crit outside of items, and the time room, so basically you can't get on a vending machine, like the red vending machine. That's completely fine, I think. Um, yeah, because like the 0.5 percentage for crit chance is just really bad in my opinion. As like a card that you choose, but if you would make it more, it would probably be too insane. So yeah, I think you can actually relatively easily get a decent amount of crit. Like if you build into it a little bit, you're going to have like 20% at the end of your run, or like variant 50. So I think it's fine actually. Mm, yeah, I mean it could probably be a little bit more, in my opinion. I mean, what you can do is like make it a unique and make it so that it heals 5 or something. That I think that would even make the item better, because then you pick it up once and it's gone like out of the pool. Um, that would also be not bad. Yeah, but I think this item is like actually not that bad. Okay. Let's move on. We have the Crown of Zeus. The Crown of Zeus gives you gives you a random chance that enemies are going to be struck by lightning. Maybe a little misconception. This lightning does not count towards elemental synergies, which I think is weird. It should be like that, but it isn't. Um, like for example, cheese, like the one that makes it so that enemies fart. That one works with elemental synergies, but this one doesn't. So that's a little bit weird. Also, I think flaming boots work. Yeah, but this one just doesn't. Which I think is kind of sad. Like, why are you doing that to the item? It kind of hurts it, to be honest. And yes, it's still damage-wise not that bad. Like, I had it in my no weapons run, and it was actually not that bad. It dealt a decent amount of damage as this item scales with your damage, which can be really nice. But I wouldn't put it like that high on this list. It's really inconsistent. Um, but I think it's better than broccoli. I think it goes here. Also, I don't know how a lot of these items stack. So yeah, like because it's like not on the wiki, and for example, how the hell is a Crown of Zeus supposed to stack? Like there are so many ways it could stack, like damage wise, chance, how often it triggers. Because this item it triggers quite rarely actually, but it's still like a decent amount of damage. It's not nothing. So I think it's better than broccoli. Yeah, but it's not great. It's really not great. Okay. Moving on, we have the flaming boots. They create a trail of fire as you run. And yeah, these actually stack relatively good. They stack in size, and I think maybe also in damage, but mainly size. And they can be a relatively good way to do elemental synergies, and are really good against enemies that just chase you, like the aliens. Um, I think flaming boots are a little bit better than. I think they go in B tier because mainly because of elemental synergies and because elemental effects are really strong in this game. You shouldn't underestimate them. And also burning got quite the buff, to be honest. Um, yeah, so I think they can go in B tier, but just mainly because they can proc elemental synergies and yeah, they are kind of useless in bosses, so to speak. Yeah, so don't. Yeah, it's not that deep. It's mainly the elemental synergies. And the one with ice is really good, especially AoE wise. If you, for example, are running an ice bomber, which is quite rare to be running, but maybe you're doing it. So, yes. Then we have the gamer headset, which gives you a 10% chance to spawn an extra bullet on primary fire. I would say this is actually a really good item. The only case in which this item sucks is if you are running a melee weapon. Then it's really bad or fan. So this doesn't work on every weapon, but I think on the weapon it works. It's really good. Like it's most of the time, if you can pick it up, it's kind of a must pick up. I think it works with ice. I think it works with lightning. So it's just going to be really well. It's basically a 10% chance for like double damage, which is really good. Also, I don't know in this case if the chance stacks or something. Yeah, but this item is really good. So I think that's like why it goes in A tier. Yes. Then we have the googly glasses, which give an additional 0.5 seconds stun time. This item is alright. It is not the craziest item. It's really inconsistent. Um, it works with Medusa relatively well, so the item that has a 10% chance on kill to stun enemies. Yeah, but it's very situational. I will probably would never pick it up. Because stun just it doesn't work on bosses, so you just don't need it. Like you really don't need it. There are so many item options that help you with mobs that chase you, or with mobs or like AoE variants in general that you just don't need extra stun time. Yeah, you really don't need them. Um, Moving on, we have the mag in the box. Each reload stuns nearby enemies. Yeah, this is an item that stuns. But I think in this case, it is like, yeah, it's just a worse Medusa. I think that Medusa and this item should swap places, because Medusa is like actually a decent item, and this just isn't. Like, I have you also you don't see what this item like really does because yeah, you just don't see it. Also, it doesn't work on melee weapons. It doesn't work on the fan, and yeah, like I mean, you reload, you stun enemies around you. That's fine. Like, but it's nothing I would choose like in a scenario in which I have like other options. I would say it's better than the goofy glasses. But yeah, that's just because the googly glasses don't work when you don't have anything to stun. Yeah, so something like this. Because I think an extra burn second in the end is going to be better because it's damage. So yeah. Next up, we have probably my favorite item, the pogo stick, which does a shockwave if you jump. And honestly, hear me out. I think this is one of the items where you really see what it does. And I think what it does is good. It's not great, it's just good. because especially if you're like me and jump quite a bit, like I basically jump all the time if I move, um, then you're going to get a lot of value out of it. Like what really makes this item not that great is that the range is really limited. But I think this item is still at the top of C tier as it scales with your damage and is really good against just a lot of small enemies. I think it's like one of the best actually then it goes over this one. It's probably one of the most consistent and best working items to deal with a lot of small enemies. So it's going into high B tier. Yeah. Moving on, we have the fish. The pufferfish, sorry. This item text says fish. And so basically this spawns a pufferfish around you, which has the chance to block projectiles and also does damage if it because it circles around you, touches an enemy. It's still bad. Um it's really bad. Um I would put it like it's not is it F tier? No, it's S tier because it's fish. No. Okay, let's be serious. I think it's not as bad as the camera as yeah, it's all right. Like it's an item. It's not like the camera basically just yeah, the camera is like basically useless, so it's just literally an item that nearly does nothing. This item does something. It can deal damage and it can really inconsistently block projectiles. What I would do is to like make this item better is if it like would block projectiles more consistently. Um, or that it could like apply a poison debuff to enemies, or like maybe if it touches an enemy, then you're going to deal extra damage to that enemy. That would also be sick. Or that it's like a little minion that shoots projectiles at enemies that inflict a debuff or something. Yeah, something in that direction. Moving on, we have the Ruby Dagger, which gives you plus 25% damage. I think this item is B tier, like high B tier. So it's definitely better than this. So I think it goes maybe here. The thing is just that 25% damage really isn't that much. Compared to a red upgrade, it's just not great. Um, yeah, I mean, you can take this item if the other options are trash or you don't want them, but in like 90% of the cases, there's going to be something better that just helps you because most of the time in your runs, you're not going to need 25% damage. Um, especially on all those weapons with like low base damage. Yeah, but it's just not a great item. In general, most of the items that just give like one stat are not great. Um, Another example for this is the dagger that gives you plus 5% fire rate in the common tier list. Okay. And next up we have sandals, which gives you 10% movement speed. It's an it's an alright item. It's not great. It's really not great. Movement speed, you don't need it. Because like 99% of the player base, or like 80% maybe, are running a movement gadget, which completely makes it so you don't that you just don't need movement speed. Movement speed is mostly nice to have, but that isn't really useful. So yeah, but what I will say is that it's better than these items because you like it does something for you is the thing. It like actually does something, but it's just not great. Is it better than broccoli? No, probably not because healing is quite important. Yeah, but movement just really isn't. For me at least. So yeah, this is going into really low C tier. Moving on, we have the Shield of Faith, which gives you plus 0.5 HP regen if time is ticking, and plus 10% alt cooldown. Yeah. So this item is pretty good, I will say. It's not, I wouldn't say it's A tier, but I think it goes actually into like high B tier because the alt cooldown is really nice. Also, in general, something the plus alt cooldown. I'm not 100. Actually, I'm till this day I'm not 100% sure if this makes the cooldown longer or shorter, but I'm 98, let's say 98% sure that it decreases the cooldown. So 10% is actually quite good for that. And then the HP regen is just nice to have. Um, I will say this item could deserve maybe 2 additional armor or something, or like one, even like one extra armor that this item give would make it maybe like a little better. I think it kind of deserves it. Yeah, but that's actually like in general, that's a question that I often have with tier lists. If you want to make like everything balanced, where would you try to put like, or how would you try to balance the item to which tier? Um, because like to make it so that all items are like evenly pickable, then you would try to have them all in the same tier. The question is, should that be like mid? Should that be good? Or should that be like really good? Um, that's the question. But I think that in the end would become irrelevant because if all the items would land in the same tier, then you don't really have a comparison. So you can't even really put it in a tier. The items would just all be at the same level and would be compared to like the odd items all in the same. Then they would be all in the same tier is the thing. But because in the item category you don't really have any like comparison, then the tier doesn't matter. Then you would have to like the thing is you always need something to compare to put something in tier list. So yeah, in the end you would probably try like compared to other items that like if the other items would be in a lower category of rarity, then you would try to put them higher. So probably if you would try to like balance, okay, let's really take oddcore as an example here. We have odd items, we have epic items, we have uncommon items, uncommon items. And what you probably would try to balance them is that the rarities would be like ordered in the tier. So you have odd, epic in A tier, uncommon in B tier, and then common in C tier. So I think that's the way you should try to balance it. But the thing is that it's nearly impossible to like make all the items at the same level. So yeah, that's just often I see when like people talk about balancing, then they say that it's good to have like really good items and really bad items. Yeah, but it's a really opinion based topic in my opinion. Wow, a crazy sentence. Um, yeah, so I think it can be really hard to balance this, but I think especially like the items that are just straight up useless, I will say. Like, okay, this item is not completely useless, and this item wouldn't, if it would be obtainable, is also not useless. But just make it so that the items are like just not that bad compared to like the other items. Is what I'm saying. The items shouldn't feel like they like actually do nothing. Is the thing. I think that's like the important thing for me. And yeah. Also something because I'm currently ranting about tier lists. Um, if you watch a tier list on the internet, I really would suggest that you also make your own opinions about things. Because I think I often forget that, and then yeah, just and then it's the thing you watch a tier list, then you watch then you watch another video which reviews the tier list and says that it's completely shit, and actually proves that. Then you're just kind of, I don't know, but you feel empty. You watched the tier list and thought, yeah, all right, I should try that weapon or item or whatever, and then you get like scientifically proven that it's completely trash. Um, like even then you could still say that the scientifically proven doesn't make sense, or that in your opinion it's still good, but you should always make your own opinions about the tier list that another person is doing, and yeah, then maybe make arguments for your tier list and then kind of stick to your opinion if you like, but you shouldn't defend it against the truth is the thing. If you're wrong, then just admit that. It's mostly easier than like um talking. It can be really easy to talk with facts, but it's really hard to talk against facts. Yeah. Sorry for that little ranting session. I hope it made any sense. Anyways, moving on, we have soul, and this one item gives makes it so that souls heal an additional 10 HP, and this item is also S tier. This item alone basically solves your healing. Um, because you can shoot out souls nearly as fast as you want, and that is just a crazy increase in healing. So this item goes straight into S tier as it can just solve your healing on its own. Moving on, we have the Soul Meringue, which makes it so that souls deal an additional 3 damage on returning on you, and the souls also get a bigger hitbox and are like little triangles. I've like actually, it's hard to see this item, but you can actually see it. I think in one of my videos I kind of showed it a little bit. I don't know which one. Yeah, but this is a really good item against enemies chasing you. But I think it's worse than a flaming trail. But it really helps, can really help relatively well with AoE. So it goes into really low B tier. Next, we have the Soul Wallet, which gives you 3 additional max souls, which I think is pretty decent. It's not like really great, but it's decent. And I think it deserves high C tier. Or maybe, I think really low B tier. I think I would take it over like items down here. Um, yeah, but it can also be like quite situational. Um, yeah. Okay, moving on, we have the spy collar, which can convert. That is spelling mistake. I don't think so. Yeah, so basically it converts 10% of health lost as damage within 2 meters. 2 meters. And yeah, this item also goes in F tier. I will say it's even worse than the camera. I'm serious right now. Um, a crawler is never going to more than you than like 10 damage if you're taking green upgrades. It's the thing. So you are going to deal 1 damage if your crawler hits you in a a 2 meter radius. Um, so yeah, the item is literally trash. It is completely useless, to be honest. Um, yeah. I mean, the thing currently that does the most damage to you is the big man. So he's going to deal around 80 damage. So basically, you deal 8 damage to the enemies around you if the big man hits you. 8 damage. 8 damage. That is yeah, that is quite a lot. Um yeah, one of the most menacing items in the entire game. Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure how I would buff this item. But I would completely rework it. It's bad. It's really bad. Um, I think what I could imagine is that if you get hit, you shoot like spikes and you shoot spikes from your body in like all directions, and they deal like damage or something, or scale with your damage. Then this item wouldn't even be that bad. It still wouldn't go that high on this tier list, but yeah, it would be a lot better than this. But this item is probably, without a doubt, the worst item in the game by far, probably. It's even worse than camera, to be honest. Okay, moving on, we have stun, which makes it so that your bullets infuse lightning and also do 2 seconds of stun time. I think this item is pretty underrated, to be honest. I think it actually deserves A tier. Um, I don't pick it that often because, yeah, I mean, actually, I think I pick it actually a lot. Like, if you have ice on your weapon, this is like a free stun, a free freeze, basically. So you get a freeze, guaranteed crits. This is really good. Um, Probably the best soul infusion that there is. And yes, so you should take this if you see it. And the other options are like worse. Um, I wouldn't take it if you're like running a build maybe with like fire, like you're running a fire focused build, then this is not great. But just alone also having like the nuclear infusion or like the nuclear epic items, this item is like good in a lot of situations. The stun is nice, doesn't work on bosses, but it's kind of nice. So yeah, just pick this item up a little bit more, abuse it. I think it's one of the better items. And last, we have the Twin Soul Orb, which gives you a 15% chance to get 2 souls on kill. This item, it's alright. It's not great. It just helps you fill up your souls better, but if you're playing like, if you have a little bit of experience, you're basically always going to, or like nearly 80% of the time, going to be full soul. This item just allows you to use more souls in general. It's really nice with corrupted scissors or items that force you to use souls. Yeah, but I think it's definitely better than Soul Wallet, but it also works really well with this item, the Soul Meringue. But I think here's like a decent place for it. Okay, yes, that were all the items. That was my tier list. I hope you yeah, learned something today. And yes, that's it for today. I hope you have a different opinion than me and can scream at me in the comments. Yeah, that's it for today. Goodbye.